Was his off hind leg lame?
Yes.
Was he loaded with millet seed on one side and honey on the other?
Yes, but you needn't go into no more details. That's the one, and I'm in a hurry. Where did you see him?"
I ain't seen him at all, the man says.
"Hain't seen him at all? How can you describe him so close, then?"
Because when a person knows how to use his eyes, everything has got a meaning to it. But most people's eyes hain't any good to them. I knowed a camel had been along because I seen his track. I knowed he was lame in his off hind leg because he had favored that foot and trod light on it, and his track showed it. I knowed he was blind on his left side because he only nibbled the grass on the right side of the trail. I knowed he had lost an upper front tooth because where he bit into the sod his teeth print showed it. The millet seed sifted out on one side, the ants told me that. The honey leaked out on the other, the flies told me that. I know all about your camel, but I ain't seen him." Jim says:
"Go on, Mars Tom. It's mighty good tale, and powerful interesting."
"That's all," Tom says.
"All?" says Jim, astonished. "What come of de camel?"
"I don't know."
"Mars Tom, don't de tale say?"
"No." Jim puzzled a minute, then he says:
"Well, if dat ain't de beatenest tale ever I struck. It just gits to the place whah de interest is gittin' red hot, and down she breaks. Why, Mars Tom, dey ain't no sense in a tale that acts like dat. Hain't you got no idea whether the man got the camel back or not?"
"No, I haven't. I seen myself there weren't no sense in the tale to chop square off that way before it come to anything, but I warn't going to say so, because I could see Tom was souring up pretty fast over the way it flattened out and the way Jim had popped on to the weak place in it, and I don't think it's fair for everybody to pile on to a feller when he's down. But Tom he whirls on me and says: "What do you think of the tale?" Of course, then I had to come out and make a clean breast and say it did seem to me, too, same as it did to Jim, that as long as the tale stopped square in the middle and never got to no place it really warn't worth the trouble of telling. Tom's chin dropped on his breast, and instead of being mad, as I reckoned he'd be, to hear me scoff at his tale that way, he seemed to be only sad, and he says: "Some people can see, and some can't, just as that man said. Let alone a camel, if a cyclone had gone by, you duffers wouldn't have noticed the track." I don't know what he meant by that, and he didn't say. It was just one of his irrelevances, I reckon. He was full of them sometimes, when he was in a close place and couldn't see no other way out. But I didn't mind. We'd spotted the soft place in that tale sharp enough, and he couldn't get away from that little fact. It graveled him like the nation, too, I reckon, much as he tried not to let on. End of chapter 7.